less than 2 weeks from today, the two brothers that serve here in our parish will be ordained deacons here at our own church. And this is a very unique and exciting happening. And I'm in charge of organizing their reception. So when you organize a reception, and I don't have a lot of experience doing this, it's hard because on one hand, you want to be enough food for everyone, right? But you don't want to spend more money than you need to spend. So you're kind of figuring out what's the right amount of food that you have to order for that event. And I thought to myself, it's always better to side on the side of abundance than being stingy, right? Because then it would be very sad if food runs out or wine runs out, right? Runs out. And I was thinking about how Jesus always sides with abundance. Every time that Jesus provides, he's never stingy about the way he provides. He always provides way more than people need. Think about it. When Jesus multiplies the loaves and the fish, is Jesus stingy about his multiplication? Is Jesus like, I'm going to multiply enough so that everybody has half a piece of bread and a quarter of a piece of fish? Jesus multiplies generously. So much so that after everybody had a meal, they were all satisfied. How many baskets were there of leftovers? 12. Abundance. Then when Jesus goes to the wedding feast in Cana, people are running out of wine, right? Did Jesus say, okay, how much wine do I have to multiply so everybody has half a glass for the brindis? For the toast, I'm sorry. He says, 600 liters of wine. That was quite the party. Must have been a very funny and joyful party. Wine to go around for everyone. Remember when the apostles go with their boat into the Sea of Galilee, and Jesus tells them, cast the net to your right. Did they get a small amount of fish that day? The amount of fish they had was so abundant that the text says the nets were about to break. And when they loaded the fish into the boat seemed like it was going to sink. So wherever Jesus is and wherever Jesus acts, his characteristic is abundance. And today in the gospel, Jesus says, I've come to bring you life and life in abundance. He doesn't say, I've come to bring you a little life. He says, I've come to bring life in abundance. So I'm wondering, do you experience life in abundance? Is life abundant in your existence? Is it abundant in friendships? Is it abundant in joy? Is it abundant in hope? Is it abundant in love? Is it abundant in all the good things that the Lord wants to provide to you? And I wonder, why is it that sometimes our life seems scarce in the life that Jesus wants to bring us when he has promised abundance? What's going wrong? Because what happens? Jesus says, I'll bring you abundance of life, and people feel anxious. People struggle with depression. People struggle with sadness. We all do. Is Jesus not delivering his promise? So to me, the big question today is, how do we experience the life of abundance that he wants to give us? Like, how do we make ourselves able to receive that abundance? And I think that an answer, you can find it in the passage of the multiplication of the bread. There you have a hint of what it looks like to dispose yourself for abundance. And in short, the answer is, you can have life abundant when you choose to keep nothing for yourself. Let me repeat this. You can have life abundant when you choose to keep nothing for yourself. Do you remember when they are outside and Jesus says, how are we going to feed all these people? And Andrew says, there's a man here who has 5 loaves and 2 breads. And Jesus says, bring me the 5 loaves and the 2 breads. And I'm thinking about the poor guy who had his own 5 loaves and 2 breads, and he was like, why are you taking away what I brought for myself? But what does this person do? He gives away everything that he had. He goes poor because he gave away everything that he had at that moment. And then what happens? He receives abundantly. So to me, the key of experiencing this abundance of life is making yourself capable to keeping nothing for self. To keeping nothing for yourself. Yesterday, our parish hosted a beautiful feast for St. Mark, our patron saint. And we had a hog roast, right? And I was just like looking at all the volunteers. And some of the volunteers, they have busy lives. I hope the cantor won't be, mad at me. But Alex is the cantor, and he was leading the whole roast, and he has 4 kids. And I'm like, where does this guy find time from? He's going to, disappear one of these days. But I was thinking about how much you receive life in abundance when you keep nothing for yourself. So, let me try to finish with this question. Where is God inviting you to keep less for yourself? Where is God inviting you to experience His life in abundance? But if you first give up on the things that you're holding on to, are you holding on too much to your time? Are you skipping out on experiencing the abundance because you're stingily holding on to your time? Are you failing to experience this abundance because you're holding on to your pride? Unwilling to be humble? Holding on to your pride, to your reputation, to winning every argument? Today, brothers and sisters, it's the 4th Sunday of Easter, the Sunday of the Good Shepherd. And the church invites us in a special manner to pray for vocations. So I also want to ask you, are you generous in praying for vocations? Are you consistent in your day-to-day life in praying that the Lord would send more priests to the world? Sometimes I think we don't pray much for that. You know why? Because we have priests around us. So we don't see the need. But we should be able to see all the places in the world where there are no priests. Are you being generous in praying for vocations? Let me ask the question to the parents. Sometimes parents think, if my son or my daughter would choose the religious life, I wouldn't oppose. And I think that's good. But I think we should be more generous. I think parents in their families not only should not oppose, I think they should encourage. I think parents should be able to say, son or daughter, whatever you choose to do in life will be wonderful, but all the more better if you lay your life down for God. And also, the young people that are here, pray for vocations. And when you pray for vocations, the question will come to your own heart. Why am I hoping for someone else to respond? I remember that many years ago when I was a layperson, a brother gave me a card, prayer for vocation. Now I see why he did that. Because he knew that when I would pray for vocations, I would be asking myself, what about me? Why am I hoping that someone else will respond? When will I respond? When will I be willing to say, I forgo everything so that I can experience this life in abundance? Brothers and sisters, in this fourth Sunday of Easter, I hope that you take from this homily the desire to experience more genuinely the abundant life. But we have to understand, to experience this abundant life, you have to choose to keep nothing for self.